Thank you for tuning in. I am so happy that you're joining us. I have Bryan Ortiz today. So in a moment, we're going to get into this interview. I do want to encourage you, if you're an alumni of A. Philip Randolph, do get in touch with me. Drop a note in the comments. Get in touch with me. I'm not hard to get in contact with. We want to connect alumni. We want to bring you together. We want to give you the ability to prosper and push your career forward. Mentors and mentees, we want to connect them. We want to bring value back to the current students at A. Philip Randolph and to our alumni. With that, I'm going to get into our theme song, Bop Along With Me. I'm looking forward to getting into this interview with Bryan Ortiz. Hang with me.
This is the Alumni Connections Project. We all know Randolph is better than the rest. Even when you progress, you still gotta rep. A. Philip Randolph Campus High School. But this is not a test, you should say it with your chest. Be proud of your origin, and if you are proud, support it then. Stronger together through unity, better together. Let's build a community. Randolph isn't a school or a building, it's a legacy inside of your past, your identity. So show some pride. Alumni Connections sponsored and brought to you by
SBI, CCPI.
SoundDownDownBusiness.org. SoundDownDownBusiness.org. The journey doesn't end with graduation and prom. The journey doesn't end with graduation and prom. The journey doesn't end with the journey doesn't end. This is the Alumni Connections Project. This is the Alumni Connections Project. A. Philip Randolph. Randolph. A. Philip Randolph. 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 Randolph.
All right, thanks for tuning in. I want to introduce you to Bryan Ortiz, a recent graduate of CUNY, New York City College of Technology, looking to start working in the engineering field, is looking to focus on sustainability and renewable energy, and has a great interest in nature. Hobbies at the moment are music production and possibly voice acting, which we're going to change to definitely voice acting. Once you hear this young man's voice, you'll know exactly why. Thank you for joining, man. Thanks for doing this, Bryan. I'm so happy to be interviewing you. You were somebody that was a big contributor while you were at Randolph in the SBI program. So happy to have you on the program today. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. I'm definitely glad to be here.
I know you just blew people away with your voice too. Just like, whoa, whoa.
Oh, come on.
So before we get into like the history, if you've watched any of these interviews, you know we're going to go through the Randolph experience and talk about how you've gotten to where you are today. But so when did you graduate from City Tech?
I graduated just this year, actually.
So 2020 graduate, dealing with COVID 2020 graduation issues, challenges, interesting feelings. The amazing historic nature of graduating in 2020, joining a peer category that is going to remember this for a long time to come. You graduated from Randolph in 2014, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right, 2014. So talk to us about, you know, the journey, just what you're doing right now in this moment. I know you're looking for stuff. You're in that mix. Are you working someplace currently? And, you know, what's going on aside from being a recent graduate?
So mostly what I'm doing right now is, right now I work at as a bank teller right now.
Which bank are you working for?
Santander Bank.
Santander. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
And yeah, I was mostly just like jumbling between doing school and then being a bank teller. And now that I'm finished with college, basically just trying to find work in my field mostly.
Are you looking to continue your career at Santander?
I would say not really, not exactly. I definitely appreciate all the stuff they've done for me, and now I know a lot about banking now. Like, whoa. But yeah, I definitely just want to focus on engineering most of all.
Yeah, I could see Santander paying you for voiceovers on their commercials in the future for sure.
I would appreciate that, definitely.
All right, so let's get into the adventure that got you to a 2020 historic graduation. So, talk to us. Where were you living? What was going on in your head? Middle school. Where were you going to attending, and how did Randolph sort of enter the picture for you?
So I definitely remember, like, in middle school, I was mostly just trying to figure out which high school I was going to go to. And one of the high schools that I was trying to go to was Stuyvesant High School. I tried to do the SAT test, and I was like 42 points away from actually getting into there.
SAT, or not the SAT, the special exam they have, right?
Yes. I'm totally forgetting the name.
Yeah, no, I think there's a specialized school test, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Mostly.
Yeah. So you took a specialized test, and of course, that was probably pretty challenging.
Yeah, that definitely was.
Yeah.
At that time.
It's tough. It's tough, and especially, it's one of the nice things about Randolph is that, it's and the history of it is that it was kind of the Stuyvesant of Harlem. It's definitely gone through changes over the years. It's ups and downs. I think it's on its way back with David Fanning being at the helm to being a very academically rigorous school. So how did Randolph come into the picture?
Randolph was mostly like one of my choices in like regular high schools just to see if I could get in, and I got in amazingly. And as soon as I got there, I'm looking around at Randolph, and it was just interesting, to say the least, just like seeing all the stuff that was like in the school. And first person I actually met in Randolph was Jorge Cruz. Funny enough.
Shout out to Jorge Cruz. We'll definitely tag him in the comments.
But yeah.
So what was your initial impression of Randolph as you were coming through the doors?
It's definitely big. I think that was like my first impression. Like, man, this place is big.
And was that like a good thing, or?
I think it was a good thing, because it was just like, oh man, this place is so big, so much to like explore about this place. That's mostly how I was thinking it.
And what was appealing? What was your initial thoughts as you were coming into the building? What did freshman year look like to you?
Freshman year, I guess it was mostly, as I was like starting freshman year, my first initial thing was just like, oh, this is like a whole new like chapter. This is like a whole new thing for me. Gonna meet so many people. Me and my friend Kenny. I just met Jorge, who I haven't seen for God knows how long. Oh my goodness. And yeah, I guess that was my first impression, just like meeting new people. And yeah.
That's awesome. So talk to me about what for your first experiences getting into like the classes. What was your first sort of entree into SBI? Because I know were you involved since ninth grade?
I think so. Yeah. I started because like I used to do stage crew in my middle school. And I was just like, oh, there's stage crew in here. I might as well do it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember you being seriously involved with that for a long time. Taking advantage of. Now the name, of course, flew out of my head. But what's our South African friend, the technical director? Farley. So Farley taking advantage of Farley, taking advantage of Robert, taking advantage of all the resources that were available in the auditorium, the light board, the sound board, the rigging, the lights, all the audio equipment. I remember, every time I was down there at the school, you were knee deep in installation and show.
Those cables, oh my goodness.
So talk to me about what that experience was like, and maybe some of your favorite experiences in Randolph, and maybe some things that you didn't love so much.
Well, I think we could start with the stuff in SBI. I think like when it came to SBI, it definitely showed me to like understand what people are asking of me to do, and like not panicking at those moments, because if you panic, then you're just like, oh, I'm frozen. I can't do anything. And then I remember one of the times where like Ozzy was just like, dude, just do this. And I'm like frozen for no reason. And I'm just like, ugh.
Did you enjoy that dynamic of like learning the ropes that way and sort of getting over some of your fears?
Yeah, I think getting over my fears was the biggest thing being in the program. And that's definitely why I enjoyed it and why I stayed.
Oh, that's awesome. And tell me about some of your favorite aspects of being at Randolph and some of your maybe not so, favorite things about Randolph.
We'll start with the favorite things first. I'd say for like my favorite things about Randolph was like all the new people that I met and all the friends that I met that I'm still connected to now. Like I'm still connected to Jorge. I'm still connected to like, I don't know if you know the girl's name, Alice. There's Steven Marquez, and there's just like a whole bunch of other people. And then
I don't remember. Was she in Tech Crew, Alice?
Alice was not in the Tech Crew. I still remember her.
What were the female members of the Tech Crew? Because that's easier to remember for me.
If I remember correctly, one of them, her name was Natalie.
Yeah, I remember her. Yep.
Natalie was there. I think for Alice, she was just in that show called Trapped.
Okay.
And that's why I met her. And
okay. And so you were meeting new people. And what was some of the things that you didn't love about Randolph?
I think it was mostly due to like a lot of people just being very aggressive and just the fights that would also happen at times. Would you describe yourself as a introvert? I would say more in the introvert, yeah.
Like partially. Jorge Cruz says Tech Crew and CCPI talk about a blast from the past.
Oh my gosh. Yo, Jorge, what's up, man?
Yeah, I think that from what I saw, Tech Crew really broke you out of your shell, because I noticed, the change from, early on in your Tech Crew experience, and how much more vocal you were, and how much you more comfortable that you seemed as you got deeper into the years. Talk to us about the lead up to junior, senior year, and what that sort of transition was. Now you're in junior year, and we got the CCPI dynamic. We're saying, okay, you got to do SATs. You got to start thinking about what colleges to go to. So talk to us about what was going on and what your thought process was there.
Yeah, it was mostly just like considering like, okay, which college am I going to be able to get into for sure? Because colleges they're much more like difficult to get in.
What was the challenging thing to you on that? What sort of maybe intimidated you?
I guess it was just like needing like high grades to like get into like certain colleges.
What was your GPA at the time when you were in junior year?
My GPA was probably like in the 70s, 75, 76, around there.
So if you had to do it all over again, 9th grade to senior year, what would you have done differently in your classes?
Study more.
Study more how?
I guess just like put a certain amount of time to just like, all right, I'm going to study this homework, study this class, just at least for an hour. At least for an hour, just to like get stuff done.
It's so funny you say that, because I'm in business networking, meetings, self-improvement, personal seminars. I'm reading Atomic Habits by James Clear, which is a great book for anybody that's interested in building better habits, study habits, work habits, personal health habits. You want to eat healthier, put the fruit bowl out on a table where you're going to walk past it rather than the cookies or the snacks, right? Visual cues. Creating good habits starts with, really like, I'm going to do this purposely so that I can make what I want happen, right? And time after time, when we're talking about how to get something done, it's putting it on your schedule. So that's exactly what you're talking to, is like, okay, put the studying on their schedule. So I hear you loud and clear. Hopefully some of the current students will hear you loud and clear as well. So you were dealing with some challenging grade issues coming into the college admissions process. What was senior year like? And it's sort of interesting that you're not talking about your classes at all. Did you have some interesting classes? Were there some good teachers, or were classes not great?
If there's one teacher for sure that I could recommend who was like the best, it was Mr. Biles.
Mr. Biles, art teacher.
Yes. And Mr. Biles, I feel like he influenced my style of clothing of what I'm trying to go for. Because he looked so cool. And I'm just like, I need to dress like him.
And he had I saw it more than other classes, so I can't speak to every other class, but because his class was on the first floor and we were always pulling desks and whatnot out of his classroom, I saw his classroom probably more than any other classroom in the building. We were in other floors. We do rehearsals and practices, very well, running up and down the stairs, going up the elevators, bringing equipment, boom boxes, all the things that went along with tech. And you would see a lot of different rooms, but in particular, Mr. Biles' room stood out. For anybody that's currently in school, anybody that's an alumni that went through Mr. Biles' class, he did an amazing job, an amazing teacher, and really put a lot of effort into making sure when you walked into his classroom, you were walking into a creative space and a place where he really cared about you as an individual and what you were going to be able to do. Really amazing teacher. So I'm glad you shouted him out. So
absolutely.
When we talk about that, were there other teachers that you didn't love so much?
I feel like Miss Reisman, who is now Miss Weiss now, I feel like it is kind of my fault because I always would not pay attention in class. I would always be distracted. But she would always just call my name. And it's just what the heck is this?
I remember her name coming up often, not as a bad teacher, but as a difficult teacher, a class that you could not skate by a long shot. Yeah,
exactly. No, you really can't.
Yeah. All right. So senior year, you're applying to colleges. What colleges did you apply to? Tell us about that process.
I think I mostly was just thinking about doing CUNYs. Mostly, and at the most maybe a few SUNYs just to see if I could go out and do the college experience mostly,
because we were pushing it. Thompson was pushing it.
That's it. Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, I didn't really mind which college I would get into. I was just wanting to start college and just get going and finishing it mostly.
So you graduated in 2014. Did you get into more than one college?
I actually only got into City Tech, surprisingly.
So you chose City Tech. That was the school that admitted you in. So you got into City Tech. Now, you graduated 2014. Now you're graduating college 2020. So six years later, right? So tell us about that adventure. What did that summer look like after Randolph, and talk to us about the journey into City Tech?
That summer, it was very relieving. It's just wow.
You were done. I'm done.
Yes. If Jorge's still here, I know me and him can agree that we were just wow, that's it. We're finally done. Oh my goodness. But that whole summer was like it's pretty chill. And I guess I was just getting ready for college mostly.
All right, so you get into so you was your first experience with City Tech in terms of like being on the campus. Did you go to the campus during senior year of Randolph?
I didn't get to go to the orientation for it.
Okay,
So
so your first experience with City Tech, you're registering for classes, getting in with the bursar and all that stuff. What was that experience like as you were entering City Tech?
it was pretty hard because like it's a lot of like different sections in the college that you got to pay attention to. It's just like, oh, this section in this classroom, that's where your next class is. I'm like, oh my goodness,
Where's
what
the
the
City
heck
Tech
do I-
campus?
The City Tech campus is if you take the A train over to J Street Metro Tech, just like walk up and then it's right there.
That's Brooklyn.
Yes,
All
over in
right, so
Brooklyn.
you're in Brooklyn. Is it a big campus?
It is a big campus, but for like the city, definitely, because they also have like the big building, the main building, and then they have a separate building for like more engineering classes, which is what
Okay.
I found out.
So what was your focus as you were entering City Tech? What was your goal?
Just to finish college mostly. I
Did you have a major in mind? Did you have a thing that you wanted to leave City Tech with other than the diploma?
other than diploma, yeah. I actually started out in electrical engineering first,
Okay.
just to like see how it is and like, oh, I like electricity, sure, why not? But as I started learning about mechanical engineering, I was just like, I think that's more for me because I wanted to like work on like big pieces and like do like inventions and such. So
So you started out in electrical engineering, got into some of those classes. What was that like?
it was a lot of programming. That's what I also noted is it's more programming, less on the like hardware stuff, which is what I was interested more.
Yeah, you were very much on the hands end, doing the tech crew stuff. You wanted to be handling the cables and playing with the soundboard and that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah,
Creating. I want to just Jorge, we stood on that staircase for a good minute outside, looking at the Randolph Castle-like architecture, wondering how we did it. First thing we did was Jim Ramen night right after. Jim Ramen.
Yes. Jin Ramen. He wrote Jim. I think it just autocorrected to Jim. But, but yeah, Jin
Is that
Ramen.
noodles? Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah, it was a ramen shop that was like
Okay.
at 125th, surprisingly.
All right, very cool. All right, you're part of noodle culture. I dig it. All right, so now you're in the classes. You're discovering that it's a lot of programming, not exactly the path that you wanted to go down. So how did you pivot? What did you do?
Basically, I just had to go to the head of the mechanical engineering department. It was just like, hey, I want to switch majors. Is that okay? He was like, I will see. There's a lot of people. In
When did
mechanical
you do
engineering.
that? Did you do that first semester, second semester?
I'd say second semester.
Okay.
I was mostly just doing like at least one electrical engineering class, and then just like mostly electives.
And
Just to see.
what did the advisor say? How did they help you?
Yeah, he mostly was just like, all right, I'll see what I could do. There should be still space, and lo and behold, it was good.
Oh, that's awesome. So what did you shift into?
Switched to mechanical engineering.
So mechanical engineering. So you get into those classes, and now how's that going?
Now I'm just like, oh, this is perfect. Now I'm just like, okay, now I'm actually like using programs to like shape and build stuff, you know.
That's awesome. So, and I want to connect you with Trevor Castleberry because he's a engineer as well, and he is in that space. So he might be able to help you out on the job front as well.
That'd be
He's
awesome.
class of 2010, I want to say, and he is definitely doing it. He's an entrepreneur, has his own consulting company in addition to working as a supervisor for a construction company, and he's into government contracts. He's a good alumni to be connected with. So definitely want to connect you with Trevor Castleberry.
Awesome.
So talk to us. So when you graduated now that you got your BA, right?
Yeah, got my bachelor's.
Okay. And are you planning to go on kind of, I know a lot of engineers go after that master's. Is that in the plans?
I'd say I want to mostly focus on just like getting a job.
Yeah,
first.
no, I hear you. Yeah. You want to get that. I imagine you're owing some money to college at this point.
Thankfully, no.
Oh, really?
I don't have any.
That's good.
I don't have any loans. It was just
That's
like grants
awesome.
and such.
Listen. This is awesome. So this is where you want to be. So you're debt free on that end. So that's amazing. So talk to us of the process. Obviously, it took 6 years. I see Jorge talking about Army Reserves. Am I missing part of the story? Were you in Army Reserves?
He wants me to join the Army Reserves. Because you should definitely get an interview with him because he could talk all about like him being in the Army now.
Well, he knows how to get in contact with Jorge. Come on, man. Let's get this interview set up.
Yeah, buddy.
Send me an email, Cameron@totheventstaffing.com. Let's get it going. Cameron Toth at soundbusiness.org. You know how to get in touch with me.
Mm-hmm.
Private message on Facebook works too. Let's go.
Definitely go.
All right. So it took you 6 years to get this degree, right? So what was the? Because I imagine that wasn't exactly what you wanted, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what happened that created this time lapse?
I would say like a lot of like both personal things that I had to deal with, and then moving out for the first time. It was like a sublease that I was doing, and I had a roommate and everything, and we would like basically just like fix up the house a bit, just like I actually
How did that interfere with school?
Mostly because not only were like the classes were like hard to get because there was a lot of mechanical engineers, so it was hard to get classes. But also I mostly had to like work over in Starbucks a lot just to like make sure I was good on rent and such.
I got you. Yeah. This is typical challenges for folks that are trying to do school and deal with real life. It's one of the reasons that Thompson and I and many others will advocate like go and live on a campus, even if living on the campus means off-campus housing or whatever the case may be, but having that focus and having that support system. It's tough in the city to get the work study programs that are actually going to work in a way where you can afford housing because it's New York City. Whereas you go to a school in upstate or down south and you're talking about $600 rent, you can easily be paying double that for something that's probably a third or a fourth of the size in New York City, rooming with somebody else, right? And this is the challenge of trying to live and do stuff in New York City, or the flip side of that, trying to study and get through college while living at home, while dealing with old friends, old love interests, and all the lovely things that go along with that. And that's my story because, as I was telling you before we jumped on, I didn't graduate from high school. I got my GED. I had a kid at 19. That complicates going to college. And by the time I actually followed the girl in the red leather pants and got into college, I'm a single father because I'm not with the mom. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to work, trying to go to school at the same time. It's complicated. It's complex and it's challenging, but you made it through. You graduated, right? Talk to us about senior year. Your this past 2019, 2020 year, I imagine was fairly light because you had tough time getting classes. So maybe the course load wasn't really crazy. You were just finishing up some credits, right?
Mostly. Like this semester, the spring 2020 semester was definitely like a hard one because it was like 5 classes that I had to do.
So in order to get it done, you had to push on the classes. Yeah.
Yes, I did. But as soon as like I finished those classes, that's it. It's mostly good. And now I'm just waiting on the email saying like, hey, congratulations, you have graduated. We are sending your diploma. Da, 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 da.
Well, listen, congratulations. I'm so
Thank
proud of you. I'm so excited to see what things that you're going to do. I know that you have opportunities in the voice acting career for sure. That is 100% happening because you got the voice for it. Like I said, I encourage you to do things. So hopefully, folks that are watching, hey, get in touch with Bryan. He can do voiceover for your cartoons. He can do voiceover for your commercials. He can do voiceover for whatever you need. He's hungry. He's ready. I'm actually, I'm putting stuff together. I'm doing some stuff. If you want to work with me, we'll get your name out there. We'll get your voiceover on some of the stuff that I'm doing through the content that I'm creating. I'm working with the video guy. His name is Max Bovin. Bovin's Video Productions is his company. I know Gio is somebody that he's a fellow alumni of not only A. Philip Randolph Campus High School and SBI and City Tech, right? He is somebody that is a dominant force in graphic design and video creation. So you got so many people that you can connect with. I definitely want to connect you with Trevor Cassaberry, who is an engineer that is doing it in New York City, working out of the Bronx right now. Where are you living right now?
Where I'm living right now is back in my grandma's house through the time being.
Where's grandma?
Over here in Manhattan, in Inwood.
In Inwood. All right. So you're uptown New York, right? So there's so many people that are right next to you. Trevor Cassaberry is in the Bronx, so he's like a hop and skip and jump away from you on a train, I'm sure, right? We're going to get you connected, and we're going to get you out there. Talk to me about the opportunities that you're looking for and how you can possibly help fellow alumni if they're, looking for something, or students that are, trying to figure things out. Maybe they're coming from a similar GPA background from you. How could you talk with them and help them and work with them?
I would definitely say voice acting and engineering and even music production. These are all just like definitely the engineering part for sure. I'm definitely willing to help any other engineer to like go forward with what they want to do, because I already know for me it's hard to like get an engineering job in the first place. Matter of fact, even an internship. So I know how hard it would be. So I'd be willing to help any other engineers.
Yeah, you're going to be in an engineering job soon, I'm sure. We're going to get you connected with Trevor Cassaberry. I think the biggest thing, especially in the job search process, even now, is to understand for any student that's at A. Philip Randolph, that any graduate that, because we're in a very unique situation with COVID right now. But the thing to understand is there is work. There are people that need you working with them in one form or another, and there's opportunity to be had out there. So it's just putting yourself out there and making sure that you are connecting and networking and taking advantage of all the people that you know. In your address book, there's opportunity. I'm not saying not to go on Indeed and LinkedIn and really put yourself out there that way. Fill out the job applications for sure, but it's not what you know. It is definitely who you know, and you know a lot of people, Bryan. You have a lot of people in your network. You got me in your network, so that automatically ties you to a lot of people. There's a lot of other alumni, so you can definitely get opportunity out there. And I want to make sure that everybody that watches this video understands that loud and clear. There's tons and tons of opportunities. There is work and business still being transacted, even in this crazy environment. And more importantly, for those that are putting themselves out right now and taking advantage of the opportunities in this environment, they're going to come out so much stronger than the folks that were sitting back and waiting for the all clear sign. So the time is now. Get on it. Go after it. I want to give you the final word, and then we'll play that lovely theme song once again. Talk to folks. How can they get in touch with you, Bryan?
I guess for me, I have a LinkedIn. You could definitely catch me on LinkedIn if you want. And I guess you could get my email if you want. Should be Bryan R. Ortiz 54 at gmail.com. You can message me anytime. I could get connected mostly. Basically.
All right. There's a way to message me in the private chat. Can you put in your LinkedIn address and I will throw that up there?
Oh, definitely. Let me get that right now.
I was trying to find it, but there seems to be a lot of Bryan Ortiz's.
There's a lot because my name is fairly common.
You know what? I got it. I found it.
Perfect.
I couldn't go through Google. I had to go through my account. So I'm going to throw that up there. And I will show the world. So get in touch with Bryan. He is on LinkedIn. Bryan Ortiz, graduate at CUNY, New York City College of Technology. We definitely need to bump up your connections, Bryan. So after today, we'll get you connected with a few more folks. And I would definitely work LinkedIn. I would definitely put out content on LinkedIn, do some voiceover stuff. I'll give you some ideas. For anybody that's looking for any kind of ideas on how to use their talents, TikTok is a great place to go. To see how other people are doing things in the industry that you want to be in. So just go into TikTok, use the search feature, search up voiceover actor, search up engineer. And not only will there be great ideas there'll be great people to connect with. So definitely use those tools that are available to you. Same thing with LinkedIn. I think TikTok is just interesting because of the video aspect of it. And you can sort of see how people are utilizing their talents in a way where they can show off what they're able to do. LinkedIn is sort of like humble bragging rights. I'm connected to so many people. I've done, so many things. Here's my resume, blah, blah, blah. TikTok is a place where you can go where you can really just show and prove. So it separates the resume from somebody that actually knows how to do something in real life. And I love that aspect of it. So it's a great place to go. Bryan, thanks so much for doing this. Can you say goodbye to your adoring fans here?
Thank you so much for having me, guys. I appreciate everything. And if there's anything that I could say is that no matter how long something takes, just go out and go for it. Yeah, I think so.
I love that message, man. I really love that message a lot. So thank you so much, Bryan. We're going to play us out here. We're going to bop along with some Randolph.
Oh, man.
If I can make this work.
All the memories.
Yeah, talk to us while I'm queuing this up, man. What's your favorite memory from doing a show in the auditorium there?
I think it was like the first show that I finally was able to do the soundboard. I think I was
which year show was that?
I'm trying to remember. I think it was like 2013, junior year, maybe. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is an important thing. So one thing that's going to be really helpful too, especially as you're getting into the job stuff, is having a journal of like when you did stuff, when you did what, so that you can talk really, really clear and focused. Like 2013, I did this. 2014, I did that. 2015, I did this. 2016, I did that. Because when you start kicking those numbers out and you get into that, it tells a different story about the type of person you are. So get into that habit of understanding that. And that's a great tip for anybody, especially high school students. Mark down the things that you've done, the things that you've been participating in, because it's the same thing. Going into the college admissions process, you get that college interview. Those are the things that are going to make you stand out. And with that said, Bryan, say goodbye to everybody one more time.
Goodbye, everyone. Laters.
This is the Alumni Connections Project. We all know Randolph is better than the rest. Even when you progress, you still gotta rep. 8th Philip Randolph Campus High School. But this is not a test, you should say it with your chest. Be proud of your origin, and if you are proud, support it then. Stronger together through unity, better together. Let's build the community. Randolph isn't a school or a building, it's a legacy.
All right, hang out, Bryan. Thanks so much for doing this. Hang out for a minute.
Show some pride. Alumni Connections sponsored and brought to you by SBI.
CCPI.
Soundbusiness.org. Soundbusiness.org. The journey doesn't end with graduation and prom. The journey doesn't end with graduation and prom. The journey doesn't end with the journey doesn't end. This is the Alumni Connections Project. This is the Alumni Connections Project. 8th Philip Randolph.
Randolph.
8th Philip Randolph.
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 We got in this bar coming to you tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.